wanted to share today out of Mark 2, and it's where Jesus is talking about fasting and the reason why the disciples will fast. But the time will come when the groom is taken away from them, and then they will fast in that day. And I skip down to verse 22. And no one puts new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise the wine will burst the skins, and the wine is lost as well as the skins. But new wine is for fresh wineskins. And I wanted to talk to something kind of weird, but you always apply the word and what you're reading to your life. And right now I'm pregnant, and something that I've learned about being pregnant is, just that you're really tired. Right now I'm out of breath, and it's a struggle for me to just do normal things. And I realized with me, I have to know why. I'm just that kind of person. I don't know how many people watching this are like that, but I just want to know the reason why for everything. And so I really wanted to know the reason why. Why am I so tired? Why is it hard for me to get up off the couch and walk into the kitchen? Why am I out of breath by the time I get there? And so I did some research on that, and I got a book. Actually, the book's called Exercising Through Your Pregnancy, and it explained that answer. It gave me that answer, and it said that the reason is because of something called underfill. And underfill is where you have a low supply of blood. And the reason that this happens, the first 3 months, your circulatory system is actually being expanded. It's being increased in capacity. Your circulatory system is your system that carries all your blood. Your blood, goes throughout your body and pumps through your heart, throughout your body, and it carries nutrients and everything that you need. And when you have the right amount of blood, you have energy, your heart beats at a lower rate, because with each beat of your heart, it's putting out more blood because you have enough or more blood, whatever, you have the right amount of blood. So when your heart beats, it sends out an amount of blood to all of your body. Well, if your circulatory system is larger, your body acts in a way that like it has less blood than it needs. And actually your circulatory system expands to 40% larger. Sometimes your circulatory system will grow in that much, by 40%. So actually your body is feeling underfilled by 40%. It's acting like it has 40% less blood than it needs, which is why your heart rate beats much faster, just doing normal things, and which is why you get out of breath easier, because if you think of a person that's hemorrhaging or a person that has lost a lot of blood, they lose their breath easy. They get very weak, because blood can't take the nutrients quickly enough to your muscles and to your lungs and to everywhere that it goes, because there's just not enough blood. Your system is too large and it doesn't have enough. So that explained a lot of questions, and it gave me a lot of answers as to why when I'm running at a slower pace seems harder for me, and it definitely provided the answer for that. But I wondered how this applies. I'm going to tie it back into Mark 2, where Jesus says they'll fast when I'm taken away. And he talks about new wineskins and new wine. And I really feel like this does pertain individually and corporately to the church, because I feel like there is a time coming, and I feel like it's already started, when individually and in the church, the system of our individual spirit and in the church, that God is giving us new wineskins, and that individually and corporately our systems are being made larger. Because it talks about in Joel 2 that there will be a time in the end times where God will pour out his Spirit on all flesh. And there will be great revival. There will be visions, dreams, miracles, such as the church saw in the book of Acts. Acts will be a foreshadowing of what is to come and what will happen throughout the earth worldwide. And I mean, for example, in Acts, when Peter walked, his shadow healed people. When they prayed and they got together and prayed, visitations happened. Angelic visitations were so normal that they thought they mistook Paul's angel for Paul because they were so familiar with angelic interactions. And so the outpouring that will happen on all flesh, whereas in Acts 2 it's just a small portion of people, you will see, I mean, what kind of system will be able to handle that filling that is going to happen. So if it happens in the physical, where our system acts in an underfilled way when our capacity is increased, then how will our system in the church, individually and corporately, behave when it is in that underfilled state? When we're still waiting on the return of Christ, we're still waiting on the outpouring of the Spirit, but we are in an expectant phase in history. I mean, right now, any day, if you look at the things that are happening, this outpouring and great revival could happen. I mean, the scene is already being set up where the darkness is getting darker and the light is getting brighter. And this is happening in our country and all around the world. And I just really feel that we're even at the beginning of an underfilled state. And if you look at church, and if you've been to church lately, it's weak right now. And we're operating in weakness. And I really feel that this is a parallel to what happens in the pregnant body, that we are living in a state of underfill. But one day, same thing that happens in the second trimester, that rush of blood is produced and you have 40% more blood. And I thought something that was interesting in my Exercising Throughout Your Pregnancy book, it talks about if you exercise actually will increase your volume of blood. So it can actually decrease the symptoms that you have and the intensity of them so that you don't feel as much fatigue and you don't get out of breath as easy, and you still feel the pain of underfill, but it can ease the symptoms. And I think that this is the same in the Spirit, that we can, during this time of underfill and during this time of weakness and lack of revival and lack of power, we can call on the Lord through prayer and through fasting and be strengthened by Him during this time. And even though individually and corporately we may still be walking in an underfilled state, waiting on the pouring out of the Spirit, I still believe that during that time we can ease the symptoms of underfill and we can have less spiritual fatigue and more energy to do God's work, and we can be breathing easier through prayer and fasting, meditation on His Word, and really just focusing on eating and breathing His Word and His presence in our lives and making that the focus, our heart's focus during this time while we wait for our bridegroom to return and for His power to come. So that was just a neat parallel that I saw with pregnancy and in His Word in the book of Mark. And so I wanted to share that.